এটা হচ্ছে কেভের এন্ট্রি। এখন এখান থেকে আমরা টিকিট নিতে হবে আগে, টিকিট নিয়ে দেন পাসিং, ওয়াটার পাসিং। So we are entering the jewel cave. So this is the first gate. There are several gates. So this is the first one. So smoking and touching anything are not allowed. So it's totally underground. So এটা অনেক নিচে। So this is it.
Remember, watch the hands, folks. No touching rocks of crystal. Even if it looks like it's been touched before. And everyone head up to that top platform there. We'll get up there again.
সো এখান থেকে কিন্তু অনেক নিচে যাওয়া যাবে, ওই দিক থেকে সিঁড়ি আছে, আমরা কিন্তু অনেকটা নিচে যাব।
Also, from that top platform, you can see the
এই যে এখানে অনেক ক্রিস্টাল আছে, এগুলো টাচ করা যাবে না। এটা হাজার হাজার মানে মেবি বছর ধরে এটা তৈরি হয়েছে, আল্লাহর সৃষ্টি। অনেক সুন্দর দেখতে আসলে জায়গাটা। এই যে এখানে আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি যে গাছের শিকড় কিন্তু এটা, তো এটা মাটির নিচ থেকে নেমে এতটুকু এসে দেন আবার এখানে মাটির নিচে ঢুকে গেছে। হ্যাঁ, আর উপরে মেবি পাহাড়, রাইট? উপরে পাহাড়, আর উপরের পাহাড়ের গাছ শিকড় এখান থেকে নেমে এসে এখানে আবার মাটির নিচে চলে গেছে।
We're going to work out who's the smartest person here. So, where's the natural entrance? So, where's outside? Where's outside? Well, look at the ceiling.
That is a rope.
The hole.
That is a rope.
There you go. So, who said the hole? So, you're the smartest person here. You spotted it first. So, this is the way in. That's a tree root hole. So, it's not a rabbit hole, it's a tree root hole. These trees, they want the water. The water table's another 30 metres below us. So the tree roots come down through this soft limestone to get the water. The trees don't last forever, the holes are left behind. Not that big, but erosion, just rainwater, makes it bigger over time. They're called solution pipes and they're relatively common. There's actually the remnants of one here. That's calcified, collapsed in at some stage in the distant past. Now, this could be from thousands of years ago, we're not really sure when. It's hard to age holes. So they think of these angled layers of ancient sanding, you know, sanding is like that, angled. They've been blown in during ice ages, when the ocean's further out, the sand's exposed, gets blown in, and some of it ends up being cemented down and become rock.
Luz.
To the hardware shop, go buy 50 metres of rope and a bag of candles, and walk through the bush until you find a hole, like these are fairly common, and tie the rope to the smallest person you've got with us. And that's basically what happened, 60 years ago. Now, when we're quiet, I like to do a bit of coming chisel carving. Does anyone believe you? No, good. This is actually more fantastic. This is just dripping water over 100,000 years. Who knows? Just making this what looks like the forest outside. Kind of clever, isn't it? The cave doing that. I want to know is how did the cave know about the Karri forest? Because the Karri forest only turned up 11,000 years ago. Apparently, it's actually a fairly recent mutation. Sonic cave. Underneath. This is all flowstone. So same stuff, still calcite crystal. Just think water dripping over the background limestone boulders, building up layers and layers of harder, denser calcite crystal. Yeah, so how calcite crystal comes out of, once it's been dissolved, it's in solution, to come out solution, it needs like a pressure change, an impact, anything like that. So even dribbling over things, it's enough to be set deposited again. Just tiny amounts, but over a long period of time. Now it's quite grubby here, as you know, natural dirt. We're allowed to have natural dirt. And we should probably go to see that. Oh, before we do, in the old days you actually could walk down, there's a staircase here, you could go past the totem pole. 2.7 kilos a litre, that would be 23 tonne. Just sitting there, but it's been there a very long time. Head on down. To the swimming
Wanna go down?
এটা তো পুরো লবণের বস্তা মতো লাগছে
স্যার 40 মিনিটের মতো
তো এখান থেকে আর একটা রাস্তা গেছে এটা আমরা সবচেয়ে নিচে চলে আসছি
মনে হচ্ছে আঙ্গুরের থোকা এগুলা দেখুন
seriously up. So last year the lake in Lake Cave was that deep. In fact, we should have called it Puddle Cave. Now it's so high, if it goes that much higher, we have issues with the lights being underwater. It's the highest it's been in 80 years that we know about. We're not sure where it's going to peak, but we think it's almost there. So hopefully it's just going to peak. The joke is though, the bulk of the water is still probably 3 years away. Because that's how long it takes to get there. There's 3 surges. There's a 2-week surge, there's a 1-year surge, and there's a 5-year surge. The 2-week is cracks water straight into the cave. The year or 10-month is the water percolating through the porous limestone. Here it's 2 or 3 months. We know that from bushfires. Oh, sorry, contact. But the water at Lake Cave, because Lake Cave is an underground stream, flowing underground, and we know how long it takes that stream to get there because it's mostly going through rock with the walls in it. This is actually quite different. This is actually a lake cave. This is a big depression in the background granite. So the water tends to just sit here. What does it make it easier though? We know where the water comes from. It's not being fed, and they just got wet, soggy toes. Both of them, cleverly. This whole wall is calcite crystal, so you've got your sticky down stalactites. You see the lumpy stuff? That's cave coal. So dripping straight down, when it's just really slow, just damp, you get this clumping effect, condensation almost, you'll notice the crystal going upon itself. Remember, gravity is not a strong force. Big heavy drops of water straight down, but when it's not, when it's tiny amounts, you get clumping cave coral. Sometimes we keep it, so we call it cave cauliflower. Cave cauliflower, cave parsnips, cave popcorn. Hopefully you've all had lunch.
No.
কোনো ই নাই জয়েন্ট নাই যে এদিকে তো জঙ্গল
That's not where they're stuck in a swimming pool bathroom corner.
There's been a lot of regrowth. And different plants as well, you know, different plants suck up different amounts of water. In fact, that does come back to people because we're pretty sure people have been burning off in this area for many thousands. Just repeating. Okay, here's something as well. There's been significant weather pattern change down here, and that has been proven because Cape Lewin is an official government weather station, and they've got 3-hourly figures kept since 1897. They've kept barometric pressure figures and a few other figures. Weather patterns have changed for whatever. Something has changed. So we tend to get more drizzle now than heavy, on average, than heavy storms. Drizzle doesn't get down here, it gets sucked up by the nasty cold. Heavy rainfall gets down here. And the big thing, of course, is what the plants are doing. And if there's been a big fire, get that planet warmer, that should make the oceans warmer. That should mean more evaporation, that should mean more rain, it should fill up. So that's about 3 kilos hanging on the end of something. Only about very rare, you need exactly the right conditions. And this confirms to me that no one came down here 100 years ago because they would have taken lump of crystal. Tons of red lump of crystal.
এদিক থেকে কিন্তু আমরা অনেক মাথা নিচু করে হাঁটতে হচ্ছে কারণ এখানে টানেলটা অনেক স্মল। এখানে একটা রেড ক্রিস্টাল পাথর আছে, এটা আর কি টাচ করা যাবে, বাকিগুলো টাচ করা আর কি অ্যালাউ না।
You're slowly leaking oils and acids naturally, you're a human being, basically. quickly. So if we were to handle stuff, normally we'd wear gloves. Cotton gloves are good because they absorb all that. You are allowed to touch this one, okay? But let's compare to one that hasn't been touched. And that's the whole point, that's why we don't touch anymore. Because we're leaving it for the future, we're leaving it as it was. Even taking it outside doesn't do it long. It doesn't like sunlight, doesn't like to be handled. It just does damage over time. Recently aged about 360,000-ish. 360s to 380,000. That's unusually old. Crystal is usually made in a dynamic water environment. It shouldn't get that old. Something different is happening in this cave. It shouldn't last that long. And the main theory is it has these long periods of dry times. That's why it just sits there. We could be wrong, of course, but that's the main theory. Even older bits, about 440 there. Uranium decay testing. There's a water line just behind you, underneath the slug, the cave slug. It's going to eat small children. Now, I've been quoting other people's research. I've actually made this amazing discovery myself, and I'm going to show it to you for the first time. Fossilised remains of an ancient cave camel. You know about cave camels? You know they must be carnivorous because there's no grass here. So there's quite possibly still a family of live carnivorous cave camels living in the cave, just waiting for the lights to go out, to come out on the feed, on the flesh of the gullible. Hopefully the lights don't go out because you probably get eaten.
Wow.
Oops. Anyone got any ideas? Because we're not really sure what's happening. We're not. We're guessing. We've got a few ideas. They even go, see this one's here, they go different directions.
Right.
Clusters. You know all that? So you can get calcified tree roots, but they really do look like tree roots. They're obviously tree roots. But that is such a thing. Oh, look at that cluster there. They're all different directions. So the main theory is, for some of them at least, maybe all of them, but we don't think all of them. So we're 40 metres underground. Porous limestone, very porous limestone. As the water drips off the roof, it leaves behind calcite crystal. Calcite crystal is not porous. So think of porous with a solid calcite crystal. It's a dam wall, basically. But the water's still coming down. The pressure builds up and up and up and up. At some stage, it has to find a way out. Basically explodes out a little drop. That's a pressure drop. It's a pressure change. Every time there's a pressure drop, calcium carbonate comes out, solution goes solid. So it's just left a little ring of acid. Driving the traffic down, they go. Just think roundabout.
এই দেখেন 100 ফাটল
Actually got dated about 450 years ago.
What?
So about 400. You gotta go that way.
Even ওই রকটা আর ওই রকটাও ফাটল এটা হচ্ছে
হুম এইভাবে হচ্ছে ইঞ্জিনিয়াররা আর কি কাজ করছিল। আগে আর কি নিচে এমন পানি ছিল আর কি।
Road.
আচ্ছা ভাই ভাই আমাদের